Okay, here with Nelson Tracey, all the way from LA.
Yes.
Just flew in, literally just off the train.
Yep.
What do you think of Belleville so far?
You know, I just walked in. I got it picked up in a Monte Carlo, so that's pretty cool. And I literally have my suitcases right with me, and happy to be here. I've been to Ontario once before, but I've never been to Belleville, so excited to check out this small town and see Picton as well later in the festival. So yeah, great start.
Nice. So, how did you hear about Hollywood North Film Festival?
Pretty simple. I just found it on Film Freeway, and I wanted to submit my film to a bunch of short film festivals with a student category because that's where I'm in right now. So I just made sure that's how I found it.
We've been talking to a lot of filmmakers so far. Festivals are so important, right? Obviously, to the point where you're traveling from LA. When you go to a festival, do you hope to meet new people? Do you hope to, find people who are looking for similar projects? Do you come in with a hope in mind, or do you just let it ride?
I'll tell you, my first objective is really to see a lot of movies while I'm here because I'm a fan. I like to see a lot of movies. And then secondly, to have a movie here is really exciting to see how an audience responds to it and to learn from that. And then, of course, obviously meeting other filmmakers and being able to not just meet them and say, oh, I'm a filmmaker, but have something to show for it really adds a lot to it. And so it's that combination of things. But this is the first film, this is the first festival for this film I made, so I'm very excited to do that. Also the first time it's screening in Canada. So that's
Canadian premiere.
Canadian premiere, that's correct. Yeah.
I love what you just said about how you're really interested in the audience reactions, very analytical of you. No one's really brought that up so far. So do you find it's just as important, to do that sort of review after the movie's been made, to watch people watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since I started making films, it's really fun to, especially when you do something that's comedic and elicits a reaction to, and I've seen the film many, many times, so I know exactly what's going on, but to just turn to the side and sort of see, the dimly lit people and how they're responding to everything and what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, as a film fan myself, I enjoy seeing how other people respond.
So then do you take that information and keep it top of mind when you're making other projects then?
I think so. I mean, definitely for me, so far every project I've done has been different enough, but it's definitely it's definitely a nice thing to have, in the back of your head, see that's something that works and that's something I can apply next time as well. Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about the film yet. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. It's called Don't Tell My Mom, and it's about a high school kid whose mom is on his case about finding a summer job, and the only place he can find a job is at a sex shop in his town. And so he doesn't tell his mom, and chaos ensues. So it's very much about sort of learning how to come to terms with communicating with people you care about, and then also being thrown into a very uncomfortable situation.
It's like a moral dilemma in there as well.
Yeah. So comedy, family drama, mix of those two things.
So where'd you get the inspiration?
It came from just a lot of conversations. I remember I first was talking to a friend of mine who worked at Victoria's Secret, and I asked her, I was like, do any guys work there? And she was like, no, not really. And I was like, that would be pretty funny to have a guy who worked at Victoria's Secret. But because no one did, I was like, well, where else would it be funny to throw sort of a teenage boy who's never really had any sexual experience, and of course a sex shop, and so, and then the added factor of a mother-son relationship and obviously finding a way to avoid telling your mom that. It all kind of came together, and it was the type of thing where I would tell people that idea and everyone had a positive reaction, so I knew it was something I wanted to put my time towards. So
And all these guys behind the camera too are college students here in Belleville. We were just talking to Nick Roy, one of the guys who's directed a student film also. Talked a little bit about how important it is to get volunteers, especially on a tight budget, especially for a student film. Did you find you went through a similar situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a student at Chapman University when I made this. I just graduated in May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's very much a community aspect. Filmmaking is entirely collaborative. You need a team to make it. That's why the credits are always long. And so that's definitely an essential part of it, and also making sure it's something that anyone who's a creative role in it can take ownership of and not just feel like I'm making a movie for you, but I'm also making a movie that I feel is my own. So,
well, listen, welcome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the weekend and have fun tonight, man. That's
Yeah.
great. Good to meet you.
You
Thanks
too.
for chatting with me.
Absolutely. Happy
Cool.
to do it.